Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about strongholds. Some toes may get stepped on, but know this: God will step on toes if that's what it takes to get our attention and listen. There are several types of strongholds. Some of them are in the world, others are inside God's children, and some of the strongest ones are inside His church. In the lingo of today, we call them firewalls. They protect our computers and other devices. We also build them around our hearts. The only thing that can take down those heart firewalls is the Holy Spirit, Mariah Wind. The names of some of those walls are greed, pride, self-will, rebellion, hate, unforgiveness, resentment, bitterness, a desire for revenge against those who hurt you. Think about it. There are people who think they can genetically produce a better Christmas tree than the ones God has made. They even want to take people up to the moon to live. All I can say is if God wanted people living up there on His moon, He would have put us there instead of here. But what they really don't understand is that the moon He created in Genesis 1:14 through 19 on the fourth day will disappear when Matthew 24:29 occurs. We need to stop thinking we are smarter than God and that we can make a better world than He did. If we truly believe He made everything, then we need to understand that the science we are relying on now instead of Him is part of that creation. Scientists are not God, but He is a scientist. Science cannot save us. Only God can do that. Science cannot heal us, but God can and does use it to heal us. His number one method of healing is Isaiah 53:5 and 1 Peter 2:24. We say God is sovereign and in control, but we are not acting like we really believe those words. People want to control the climate, and they have been making a big mess. They don't realize who the chief meteorologist is. Yes, he does use weather events to get our attention. Those events strip away earthly things. Those earthly things don't matter as much as some folks think they do. Why does he strip them away? Because he wants our undivided attention. He wants us to depend on him 100%. It's when we don't that those things become strongholds and firewalls. We can tear down those earthly ones in the name of the Lord, but the ones in our hearts and churches can only be torn down by the Lord whose name we call on to be saved. It's time for this nation to get serious and do that very thing. We have talked about how many times. It goes back to 2 Chronicles 7:14. You see, the Jews are not his only chosen ones. We are also his chosen ones, and we need to start acting like it. Look what happened to Satan when he wanted to take control. Right now, this nation is divided and on the brink of falling. It's time to truly be one nation under God, indivisible, with his liberty and his justice for all, because then all lives will matter to us like they do to him. How? Ask him to tear down your strongholds and your firewalls. Give the reins of your life to him and let him be the ruler of your life. We also need to get the reins of this nation back, give the reins of this nation back to him and ask him to be its ruler. Ask him to let his will be done in this nation and really mean it. Then ask him to forgive this nation and to bless it once again. We need to let him know we are truly sorry and ask for his help, because his way really is the best way. There's an old saying, if the shoe fits, wear it. For this nation, that's the only shoe that fits, and it's time to start wearing it. Oh Lord, put those shoes on our feet and help us walk in them with you leading the way. When you are in trouble and need to have your enemies scattered, use Numbers 6:35. When we let God arise before us, enemies flee. Before you go into battle, use Numbers 10:9. Blowing that shofar reminds God of the battle and also scares the heck out of your enemies. If you've ever heard one, you know what I mean. The sound is loud enough to clean your ears out. It's time to sound the alarm and get radical. Why? Because you can't tear down strongholds unless you are radical. You can send your prayer request to heanswerstwo@gmail.com.